While it may be hard, I would like for you guys to answer this question without any bias. Are the Memphis Grizzlies legitimate contenders to come out of the Western Conference? You know what? Beyond the Memphis Grizzlies being legitimate contenders to come out of the West, do you guys think that there's any chance that Ja Morant takes his first MVP award? I can't overstate how good this Memphis Grizzlies team has been. The same way I can't overstate how good Ja Morant has been. He's taken that step that everybody knew that he was capable of taking, and it's been unreal to watch. Ja has the IQ, the athleticism is there. Did you guys see that block that he got the other night? That is a point guard doing that. That is a 6'3" point guard. Like I said, you love the athleticism. You love the playmaking ability. You love the fact that the game is never too big for him. Ja was a rookie going toe-to-toe with James Harden, showing absolutely no chill.
Make a miss on his shoulders.
Ja for three. Bingo. Ja Morant. Mano.
There are a lot of things to love about Ja Morant, but what you especially love is his leadership and his commitment to Memphis. When talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, it's really easy to act like this team is an overnight success. But the truth is, they're far from that. This franchise has been putting in work, regardless of if everybody has been paying attention or not. If people weren't paying attention before though, I could definitely tell you that they are now. Let's go over the Memphis Grizzlies trading for Jonas Valanciunas this offseason. I want to go over this trade because when this trade went down, a lot of people thought the Memphis Grizzlies were moving in the wrong direction, which was simply never the case. One thing that I love about the Grizzlies front office is that you can easily see the vision with every move that they make. This offseason, the Pelicans would acquire Jonas Valanciunas and the draft rights to 2021 first-round pick Trey Murphy. Brandon Boston would be included in this deal, but of course he would end up in Los Angeles. While the Grizzlies would acquire Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, and the draft rights to 2021 first-round pick Zaire Williams. Wait, I'm not done. They would also acquire 2021 second-round pick Jared Butler. Butler would end up in Utah. They would also acquire the Los Angeles Lakers' top 10 protected 2022 pick. I'm actually still mad about this. To be short, the Lakers have not been good this season. There's a good chance that that Lakers pick ends up being in that 11 through 20 range in the NBA draft. 11 through 20 in the NBA draft is still prime real estate, especially if you're a franchise or an organization that knows what they're doing with that pick. Personally, I believe you could find talent anywhere in the NBA draft, and I believe that any pick is valuable. That's why I get so mad when teams sell picks. The rest of this trade is pretty much between the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, so I'll spare you guys the rest. When this trade went down, like I said, a lot of people thought that the Pelicans flat out robbed the Memphis Grizzlies. The good thing about this trade for Memphis was regardless of if Memphis was good or bad this season, this trade was always going to be an absolute W. Regardless of if Jonas Valanciunas was good or not, W for Memphis. Now don't get it confused, because in no way, shape, or form am I saying that Jonas has been bad for us. He's been flat out irreplaceable. If the Pelicans had to make this trade again, I still think they would do it. While I know that if the Grizzlies had to make this trade again, they wouldn't think twice. After acquiring Eric Bledsoe, surprisingly, the Grizzlies were able to pretty easily trade his contract. In this whole process, they were able to get Rajon Rondo, Daniel Oturu, Jarrett Culver, and Juancho Hernan-Gomez. While it may not seem like much, being able to get off of Eric Bledsoe is a W for Memphis in itself. I'm really not trying to rag on Eric Bledsoe, but my guy was horrible for the New Orleans Pelicans. The Grizzlies trading Jonas would allow them to focus their offense more on their young superstar, Ja Morant. Yeah, does anybody want to remind us exactly how that's been going? Because I just guess I forgot. Yeah, guys, Ja has been flat out unreal. But trading Jonas wouldn't just allow Ja to grow more. It would allow Dylan Brooks to grow more. It would allow Jaren Jackson to grow more. Essentially, with Jonas' departure, the whole team would have to step up. And it's safe to say that they've been doing much more than just stepping up. With the direction that the NBA is headed and the versatility that Jaren Jackson holds, I could definitely see Jaren Jackson becoming a long-term small ball 5 for the Memphis Grizzlies. And if you ask me, that's devastating. How can you stop a slashing Ja Morant when you can't even help? Because if you do, Ja is going to make the right read. He's going to find the cutter. He's going to find the shooter. If Jaren Jackson Jr.'s shot reaches the point that we know it can get to, watch out. Guarding an already tough team becomes that much tougher. Nobody likes guarding a small ball 5 that can shoot the ball at a high level. Just ask Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz. We're in 2022 and a lot of teams still have their bigs running drop coverage. Look, I've been talking a lot about Jaren Jackson Jr. being a small ball 5. While I've been doing that, that doesn't mean that I don't have a lot of love for Steven Adams. For as much hate as Steven Adams has got, he's still a very valuable role player in the NBA. While he statistically may not light up the scoreboard, he knows his role. You don't have to dump it into him for him to impact the game. Adams is a big-time offensive rebounder. On top of his offensive rebounding, his passing is somewhat underrated. Memphis has done a fantastic job of utilizing Steven Adams as not only a screener, but also as a passer. While I'm not going to sit here and call Steven Adams Magic Johnson, I definitely do appreciate a big man who can make the right read and make that read at a high level. While we're talking about the Jonas trade, we have to talk about the Grizzlies moving up from the 17 spot to the 10 spot in this year's NBA draft. The Grizzlies moving up to 10 allowed them to draft Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams is this 6'9", 6'10" dude, crazy upside. He's got a nice handle, he's got the length, he's a solid to good athlete. And beyond all of that, he was projected as a player that could shoot the lights out of the ball and create their own shot regardless of what the percentages showed in college. Zaire's time at Stanford reminds me a lot of Cam Reddish's time at Duke. While the situations are completely different, I think neither player played up to their respective potentials in college. While college production is important when talking about potential NBA draft prospects, it's definitely not everything. Perhaps my favorite part about the Zaire Williams pick is that he was projected to be a project. Versus the Golden State Warriors, he's looked much better than just a project. He dropped 17 points on 6 of 12 shooting while knocking down 3 threes and being a +8. Oh, and by the way, he was one of the primary defenders on Steph Curry. Since his return from injury, he's been averaging double digits on good shooting splits. Guys, he's 6'9" and he's only 20. The sky is literally the limit. Memphis front office is special and their approach to the draft is different. They're not afraid to find or select guys who can contribute right away. Brandon Clark spent 4 years in college and was regarded as an older player. In the NBA, Brandon Clark has been a very solid role player, if nothing else. Argue his statistics to somebody else. Dillon Brooks was a late round pick who spent 3 years in college. We've already seen what Dillon Brooks can do and how valuable he is to this Memphis team. Desmond Bane was a senior who played 4 years at TCU. Many didn't regard him as a player with big time upside, but I guess it's for the best that they didn't. Admittedly, I didn't know a ton about Bane coming into the draft, but when I read his scouting report by NBADraft.net, I was sold. How could you not love this pick by Memphis? NBADraft.net regarded Bane as a high-level shooter, somebody with excellent range on their jump shot and great in spot-up situations. Being able to shoot the ball will forever be important in the NBA, but when you have a player as dynamic and as polarizing as Ja Morant, the ability to shoot the ball becomes so much more valuable. Do you know how many high-level slashers would have loved to have guys like Desmond Bane around them? Shooters that can shoot like Bane have their own gravity. They don't have to touch the ball to impact the play. I'm going to cut this scouting report short. Basically, Bane was an incredibly smart and strong player at 6'6" that showed the willingness to defend on the perimeter and also a willingness to be a team player. When you're a contender, when you have your star, when you're building a team, You don't always have to swing for the fences. There's a ton of value in searching for guys who can fill roles and are ready to contribute immediately. A star with a bad roster is exactly that. While there are players capable of elevating the roster around them, at the end of the day, you can only do so much. Herb Jones spent 4 years at Bama. He fell to the Pelicans at 35. Herb started the first game of the season for New Orleans and has been exceeding all expectations. He can defend at all 3 levels, initiate the offense, block a shot, and go coast to coast. Have you guys seen the clip of him locking down Paul George? The second Herb's jersey hits the NBA store, I'm copping. If you guys want a Herb Jones breakdown, let me know down in the comments below. The point that I'm trying to make to you guys is while you still do have to make the right pick, there's talent available throughout the draft. And while it may be an oversimplification, there's definitely value in drafting guys who are ready to play. When we talk about Memphis, a lot of times, the first thing we think about is Ja. And rightfully so. Ja is tough, but so are the rest of the Memphis Grizzlies. This team has so much talent that they're 11-2 without Ja Morant this season, according to StatMuse. That's no knock on Ja. That's just how good this Grizzlies team is. Shout out to Taylor Jenkins. Without Ja, the Grizzlies were able to go on a 5-game streak. With Ja, they've been able to eclipse 10, with big wins coming versus the Warriors, Suns, Nets, and Cavs. That's tough. You know what? While we're here, we might as well bring up the fact that the Grizzlies have 16 wins over the top 15 teams in the NBA. Let's go back. They beat the Warriors twice. They beat the Suns. They've beaten the Jazz. They've beaten the Nets, Heat, Sixers, Cavaliers twice, Nuggets twice, Mavericks, Raptors, and they've beat the Lakers 3 times. I'm really sorry, Lakers fans. According to StatMuse, since Thanksgiving, the Grizzlies are first in net rating, first in defensive rating, first in win percentage, first in rebounds, first in steals, and first in blocks. The most beautiful thing to me about the Memphis Grizzlies being this good is that they're not trying to make any friends along the way. Ja Morant said this about the Grizzlies' trash talk. Guys don't like it, but we're not going to stop. We just have to continue to play hard for 48 minutes, share the ball, and be us. Right now, that's our identity. Battling, playing physical, and talking. That's just Grizz next gen. It's scary to think about the fact that this team is so young, yet they only seem to be getting better. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.